For this video, one thing that I've been thinking about is an interview that Marilyn Manson gave a long time ago. I know it sounds weird, an interview with Marilyn Manson, but hear me out. So, a lot of people know about the Columbine massacre and what happened, and at that time when it happened, everybody was looking for somebody or something to blame. And at the time, it was Eminem, Marilyn Manson, and the Matrix films. Well, Marilyn Manson was in the middle of an interview so many years afterwards, and he was asked, he said, what would you say to the two students that committed the act if you were able to talk to them? And he looked at the interviewer and said, I would listen. And that was really powerful because now, had he listened to him, or if anybody listened to him, we don't know if any outcome would be different because, as my mom says, some people like to gain fame through infamy, so we don't know. But it kind of brings up a good point with today and, well, pretty much today, and the fact that there are people out there that are hurting, and all they want is for somebody to listen. And we have to ask ourselves, how many people could we have helped had we just listened to them? You know, it might have done something, it might not have, but at least to be out there and listen. I know coming from TikTok and all the videos there, you come across a couple of videos on your For You page where people are lying down or they're sitting down and they're crying and they're just saying, please just listen to me for 1 minute. And you know, some people may look at it and say, you know, all that is just bait to chase likes. And again, it could be. But also, it could be, I don't want to say a cry for help, but it could be the fact that they just want to be heard. And when you really sit back and look at it, it's sad that people have to resort to shooting a video and posting it to get any type of feedback, to be heard. You post a video for millions of people that you don't know to see it, when the people that you know, they're sitting right beside you, you feel as though you can't confide in them. And that's sad. And it hurts a lot to think about that. So one thing it had me thinking about is when I went through my divorce, what my doctor told me. He said, what did you do wrong in the relationship? And when I looked at him, he said, the relationship ends because of both people. And we sit there and we look at the other party and, we blame them for everything. But then we don't look at ourselves and say, well, what did I do? What did I do wrong in the relationship? And when I thought about it, he was right. And it's kind of the same thing. You know, we look at these people that are hurting, and we just look at them and say, oh, they're craving attention, they're crying for attention. But we don't look at it and we don't say, well, what could I have done? You know, or did I do something that made them feel as though they couldn't come to me to talk to me about anything? And that's something that we really need to work on. You know, when my doctor said that to me, I thought about it and it's like, yeah, I did some things, you know, I wasn't perfect in the marriage. You know, I tried to be the best I could, but I wasn't perfect. And, you know, I stumble across the way. Even in my relationship now, I know I stumble and I mess up, and there are times where I stand back and I look at it and I was like, oh, I effed up. And luckily I have somebody that calls me on it, but really it's something that even when I think that I was doing something nice or doing something right, and when I feel like I'm doing something right or nice and it just doesn't come out that way, you know, I have to look at it, and I don't look at it and say, well, I was doing this nice. You know, I look at it and I say, where did I mess up on this? You know, if I did, which there are times I do, and, you know, I'm called on it, and then I'll immediately text her, say, babe, I do apologize, that won't happen again. And even with the apology, I do work towards fixing it. Because that's one thing, just apologizing, you're just saying to say something. Really, to have the full apology, you have to work on the problem that you had. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying, that's something we need to do. If there's somebody out there beside us that's hurting, but they're not talking to us, we need to find out why, and is it something that we're doing or not doing that's making them not want to talk to us, to confide in us. And through that, and that's one thing for me, I try to be as open as I can, and I want anybody to be able, if anybody's having a problem, I want anybody to be able to talk to me. You know the old saying, when somebody asks you how you're doing and you're like, oh, I'm all right, can't complain, nobody will listen. Well, I want to be that person where I feel like if you have a problem you can come to, and there's no judgment, I'll listen to you and offer advice when needed. And I feel that, and again, I'm not perfect, but I feel we all need to be that way. And I think somewhere in there we all think we are. But when somebody doesn't want to talk to us, we do have to look at it and say, is that us that, are we the reason for that? Are we the reason they're not talking to us? And we need to try to fix ourselves to become more open. And one thing I always say is I'll never give up on somebody. Even if they give up on themselves, I'll never give up on them. Because I want them to know that they do matter and there's somebody out there that does care. And so, that's something that we all need to think about. And getting back to the original point, we just need to listen. We just need to listen, and through listening, understand. So, it's late, and that's it for this one. I hope everybody has a good night, and see you tomorrow. Bye.